How was your day today? You had a good day?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We got, we're still in our cases.
Mm-hmm.
Got some investigations going, so we'll talk about that another time. But we're still moving forward. We're still shooting out them arrows. We're not giving them a break.
I know that's right.
We're not giving them a break.
Thank you, Brandon. Brandon, you can get on. Go get on the show. I got Chief on right now.
Ask Chief if I were to call.
We'll talk later.
I know people right.
He got a question.
Yeah, he had a question. I told him, I said, he gonna have to talk to you when y'all come over.
Yeah, we got. I wanted to get it. I don't know how well I can answer it.
I was taking Red Man home tomorrow, Sunday. Hopefully, we can get you all to stop by. On the way or on the way back.
Oh, okay.
Vice versa.
Yeah, we'll see because it may not be us taking them back. It may be.
Okay.
I
got you.
You may be taking them back. Trying to keep it pushing.
I know that's right. I think we are all online. Let me check. Stream online. 1, 2, 3. All right. Grand Rising. Oh no, it ain't even Grand Rising. It's the evening. I'm so used to saying Grand Rising.
Greetings.
How's everyone's day? Greetings. I'm your host, Coach Crew Cut, and welcome. You had this part 2 of Unlocking the Mother Tongue with Chief Bluefeather from Coosa. How you doing, Chief?
Hello, everyone. Brothers and sisters, how's everybody doing? It's Friday.
You doing all right?
It's Friday. I'm good. Hope everybody's good and safe. Up on the street.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Take it.
Wonderful day. Yeah, we got a bad. You breaking in and out on me. I might have to have you call in. Huh?
Okay.
Am I breaking in on? Am I breaking in and out on you?
You're clear. You're clear right now.
Okay.
Bad connection over here.
Okay. Well, what we're gonna do is, if it's a bad connection, you can call in. I can give you the phone number, and we can go.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
No, I can hear it now. It was just going in and out like somebody else said.
Right, I know. Let me make sure my lines is in.
How about now?
Yes.
That's
you
better.
sound wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound
okay.
real good.
I'll try to just sit in this one spot right here. Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Well, everyone, we have Chief. How you want me to do it today? You want to?
Whatever you feel. We can start with page. All right. So if you wanna, where we kind of left off a little bit. So let's just go ahead and flow with it. Just to kind of recap a little bit, we can have, we start off with a little introduction last week. I just want us to take our time and just try to go with the flow of the spirit of this, because it's not, like I said before, it's not like from a piece of paper or a list or anything like that. It's really what I'm hoping is to help us to spiritual experience, where you're actually feeling this language and feeling who you are from the inside out. And the reason why that's important, especially for us, the lost ones, the children that have just been, walking, in our own homeland. Some of us have been blind to it, and some of us have known, and some of us are not really sure, but we've been just walking around in this place for so long. And, we've been through racial reorganization and reclassifying us as a suspect class of people. So we've been through a lot. And part of this journey to reconnecting with the mother spirit that has been pretty much taken away from us via, the colonial patriarchal versions of what spirituality should be, and basically not having any type of connection to the divine feminine. It's a healing. We need to heal. So I'm hoping that will be a unique experience for each and every one of you as we're going along this journey to reconnect to our mother tongue, but also as a way of freeing yourself and getting the healing that you need and that we all need, as we return to who we really are and be able to walk in that power, so that we really can be a people of one mission, one people, one fire. So the key to unlocking mother tongue within is reconnecting with our great mama, but it also marks the prophetic return of the mother spirit, which signals a gathering of Earth's children and the homecoming of our most natural and holistic self. So I do welcome each of you to join me in breathing new air of self-discovery as we travel through the heart, noon of her, and remember. So we're moving on to page 3 in the PDF, which is getting attuned. I just advise people to relax. There's really no trick locking the mother tongue within except tapping into your own magic. And I do want to put that out there just for the listening audience. I am not a linguist. I don't speak any other language fluently outside of English, except I do speak fluent in the mother tongue. I do that, but I don't speak any other language. Now, I have been exposed to other languages when I was in college. Under my bachelor's degree, I got a bachelor's degree of music, and I did learn how to sing in the in the inflection of the Italian.
You broke up there. They didn't push you underwater.
And some French, and I did.
You deep underwater now, Chief. They didn't push you all up underwater. They ain't letting us get none of that.
And I know, and it's just.
Okay. How about now? Nope. Do I need to call in? No. Do I need to call in?
Let's see.
Or no, it's still watery.
Well, it's starting to sound decent. If I can just get
Okay.
this to clean up, we'll be good.
I had just figured out how to record the thing too, and once I started recording, then it just went, like you said, went under.
Yeah. Now I gotta change this. I know what's wrong with this. This is crazy. All right.
How about now?
Ooh, that was rough.
Okay.
They tried me then. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I was just basically giving a little background to myself that I'm not a linguist, and I don't take any credit for anyone who's, unearthing languages and really are professionals in that field. That is not my field. But I just have an uncanny kind of like a gift that I can kind of flip voices and sound because I'm really attuned to frequency. So when I was in college or or when I used to do like plays and things, I can flip voices to sound, Jamaican, or if I want to speak very proper, I could sound like I'm maybe from England or from Switzerland or one of those other countries. Knowing another language, no, I don't know other language. And the closest I think I ever came to the mother tongue and didn't realize it was probably when I had my spiritual phase going through being a Hebrew Israelite. Even though I never formally learned any Hebrew and couldn't tell you some of the symbols I might be able to tell you if, from taking notes and some of them that we had to remember, but I don't know it as far as a speaking language. There was a group out there a long time ago who did have a lot of words with AH, but it was like every word was like that. And I used to think it was just silly. Like, what is that? So that's the closest I think I've ever come to it. And lo and behold, full circle back around, there's a lot of that I'm hearing that comes out. So so I just want to give you guys that background, that this is really just a personal journey and a guide in a sense to help you to unlock what I believe we already have. So I just want to give that background. So basically it's just a journey, and we just have to get ourselves ready to rediscover who we are as soul beings and letting go of the vices that limit us as, creative spirits. And even though we do know that there are social political corruptions that have cut us off from our indigenous self, the focus here is to kind of like let all that go, which is kind of like what I had to do. And I'll tell you a little bit about that experience over the past decade. Hold on a second. Somebody's at my door. So if anybody have any questions, I'm just going to yield the mic for a second.
While she's answering the door, anyone has any questions? So we can get to them. Kind of at the end, we're going to let her build. We want to go through this, get a good understanding. I don't want to be calling nobody. Hey, you understand this? You know what she said? I missed it. I didn't want to do that. What up, Bones? You say something, Bones?
Just pad and pen back here. That's it.
Yeah, man. I don't want to miss nothing. Wow, I got my mic on mute. I'm like, won't catch me. I ain't saying nothing.
I didn't get a chance. I got a question.
What's going on? How you doing?
I didn't get a chance to get the names. I'm doing okay. I thought about it afterwards. I didn't get a chance to get any of your names.
Well, I'm Coach.
Coach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is Bones.
Well,
and you got one more. He driving. There's no sellout.
All right.
Coach.
Is that the same three people was there last time?
Yo, you got it.
Yep.
All right.
Don't go nowhere without these two.
Who was the one that was asking about the Baptiste name? Said he had a relative or something?
That's no sellout. That's no sellout. He's driving. He's up at 95.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Okay.
All right. Were there any questions? No?
Nah. Yeah, it said that you teach. If so, what's the info?
Just keep going.
You in class. This the info. Okay. Stay tuned.
Well, I'm
Friday night.
I'm a creative teacher, so if I don't even want to say teacher, just a guide. I like to just think of myself as a guide. But if people have questions, I don't have no problem. Do the best I can to answer it. But anyway, one of the ways to kind of clear away like the debris of the world, just the colonialism, all the yuck that has been cast on us. We get back into our indigenous medicine, get back into our Indian medicine. So a lot of times I burn sage just to kind of meditate and quiet, clear out the space. I do use incense or, certain other smells, whatever you're attracted to, and there's good clearing incense, dragon blood. I like frankincense and myrrh. And I like, what's one of my other favorite ones? I like sage. Saging is good, and just, practice breathing exercises, inhale, exhale. And if you have them, they do have them on YouTube a lot. I use like a lot of their ambient music. You can use some of the more and just kind of practice yourself and breathing so you can just kind of get focused and center, finding your center, your chi, your she. And that's pretty much it. And just kind of get reattuned to yourself and just, try to find your center, your medium. So because we're all embodied of the feminine and masculine principles, which serves as a purpose in the convergence of passing on genetic sequences, ancestral codes, and ultimately the breath of life. The reason why I say find your center is because when you're going into your spirituality, we can't just have one influence and not the other. We're all bipolar beings anyway. So this is just a way to kind of retune with your feminine, masculine spirit, which I believe we all have. And at the center of all that is you growing and developing and evolving into your own unique expression of creation. So that's why I believe we all have the language within us. So eventually life brings us back full circle, and then we're returned to our mother's womb. So that's pretty much funny. So basically the other part of it, I just kind of go into my own little story, and I'll skip over that and come back to it, because I kind of gave you guys a little bit that, after growing up in Christianity, I had crossed over into the Hebrew Israelite way of life. That was a little difficult because it was very, very male heavy and very male dominant. Dying to self in Christianity, and then you walk into Hebrew Israelite, and it's like you got to ignore yourself as a woman in a sense. So it really took me some time. Once I had moved, once we relocated to the South, that was kind of like my own little spiritual hiatus where I kind of set all that, anything dealing with religion, I kind of just set it aside, so that the spirit could teach me, the ancestors could teach me the difference between religion and spirituality. And I always kind of think of myself, I've been a spiritual person since I was little, but religious, I never really liked religion in the sense of uniformity, where everyone has to do the same thing, say the same thing, walk the same way, talk the same way. I was never really attracted to it in that sense. It was always for me kind of seeking out the message, and how can I improve my life and be a better person. So that's kind of how my approach to religion has been. Kind of set that aside. I kind of meandered through some really obscure texts and just kind of looking at alternative information. I kind of, rolled right on into the conscious movement, and you start to just learn new things about, philosophy, social politics, science, human rights, and things like that. So out of that experience is when I kind of feel like logic and wisdom kind of rolled together. And that's where my own spiritual consciousness started to take some development. And that's when I was beginning to kind of identify with the divine feminine within me, and not in a sense of feminism, because people kind of think that I've seen people argue about it a lot of times, thinking that if you attune with the feminine side of yourself, or if you are tuning in to the mother spirit as another part of your aspect of your spirituality, because there's a mother and there's a father. We have great grandfather spirits, we have great grandmother spirits. So tapping into this energy does not mean feminism at all or gender bashing. I feel as myself personally as a strong woman and feminine self, but I'm a pretty balanced person. I'm not way out there with it. So I kind of, have learned how to temper my own chi, which is your she within the balance of life. So I have a lot of respect for being a mother, a wife, and serving my family. So it's really, when we kind of go back into, not go back, because I don't like to say we're going back. We're kind of going forward, but we're walking forward into our future, which also brings who we were back then. Because we're all ancestors that, we're all coming back again in this time and this day to do what we're doing. So we got to understand colonialism is what divorced and made this, I believe in my spirit, this severing between the male and the female spiritual union by ushering in male controlled religious, social, political, like socialization. That's just kind of like how we are in this part of the world, even though we see pictures of women and, things are very sexualized in the media, but on a whole, women have certain jobs in our society where men have certain jobs. We can look at our politics. You can just look at any congressional meeting, any Senate floor, any Congress, and you can see we're still in a very lopsided world is even as far as so we supposed to be so advanced, but yet we still have discrepancies in pay between males and females and so forth and so on. So not about dismissing the father element. It's not about dismissing, which I'm going to actually go back and write some more things about that. So if you do have the PDF, keep in mind it's a living document, because as we are learning and we're growing, we have to realize we're not in the highest state that we could be yet. And we're still clutters of debris of colonialism and of racism and all the isms that we've had to endure for this long as a people. So it's going to take us time to kind of brush away and sweep out this debris of this this unreality, so we can get back to our reality as the spiritual people with sacred truths and those who have gifts of revelation, because we are gifted people. So omitting our mother spirit from our spiritual practices, unfortunately, kind of banished her from our upbringing. I'm on page 5. We were forced into forgetting about the mother spirit and pretending like she didn't. The religions, women are demonized, the Jezebel, the this, the that. So we kind of got to get rid of all of that. And as we're towards our natural self, we got to look at it. We got to start looking at ourselves as a whole, because even though, like myself, I've been educated for many years, and one of my expert areas is criminalization. And I know that the plight of our communities have been without fathers, without male figures, from family rearing, especially when they're taken from us by force of violence or incarceration, drug addiction, unemployment, or underemployment. And no one can actually take away the gravity of that constant war against our own cohesiveness. So, but the other part of it that we haven't addressed yet as a people, it's the plight of an entire nation who's been forced to assume foreign religious practices, denying our own natal. It's like we're like Cinderella, but we're forced to live a motherless existence as spiritual slaves in our own cradle of life. And that's been very detrimental to us. So this walking towards and accepting the mother spirit is not to divorce the male energy and the male or the masculine divine entity that we all share. Is to kind of bring ourselves back to being whole again, because this is going to be instrumental in us mending male-female relationships, so we can kind of get everybody else out of our head and close the books and just close your eyes for let's just think logically and with a heart. How should we treat each other? If you're a man, how should you treat a woman or your fellow brethren? Or if you're a woman, how should you treat yourself, or how should you treat your man or the sons, your sons, your daughters? How should we treat each other? Because this is also a journey towards reconnecting to us to be one, so we can get everybody else's, the clutter out of our mind and head about how men and women should be, and how fathers to their sons should be, and how daughters and mothers should be. What's natural? What feels right to us? In fact, what's going to help make us whole so we all can be healthy? Because it's one thing to assert your energy and power, point where we overpower the divine energy and light that you see in someone else. That's why it's very important as we start breaking down the language. Like, we don't say hello. I very rarely will say hello anymore, because, okay, what's in the middle of hello? What do you really hear? Hello. Now, people may say, oh, but that's just a word, but we got to understand that's also frequency. So we say halito to each other. That's a pretty frequent one. Halito, oseo. But when we're saying those greetings, you're not just saying, hey, how you doing? Halito. You're really recognizing the illumination or the light in the person you're speaking to. Oseo, you slow it down. I see you. We're speaking to each other. Remember, our language, our mother tongue speaks life. That's why it's called the I frequency. The I frequency is, the breath of life frequency. So when we're speaking to each other, we're really speaking life into each other. That's why, so we really do our communication with each other is uplifting. It's, it's even when you're bringing correction, it's still to bring you up, and to respect, because if we can respect the light of each other, then we understand the whole purpose of the great law of peace. All this stuff is connected. Your language, your spirituality, our relationships, how we communicate, how we gel, how we, how we roll together. So, and your language expresses that. And, we don't get to, even though we all speak English, okay, or Spanish or whatever, other foreign tongue that we've been given, or a slant on our tongue we've been given, it's still nothing like speaking to each other in your own uplifting terms and words, because it's an embodiment of who we are. Because this is also a spiritual revolution that we're working on. So basically, all that in a nutshell is just saying balance is key. Mother God or Father God, it's a package deal. It's a marriage. It's the principles of duality. And that's what makes us whole. So, anybody have any questions?
Let me see. No, I haven't seen no question. I'm looking at all the chats. I haven't seen that one.
I have a question.
Come on.
Chief, are you familiar with the idea that the languages were changed and all made universal? I'm thinking from our experiences here in America, so that they can understand everything that was going on. Because us, with our tribal language and our native tongue, it was hard for them to be understanding, because all these tribes had different languages, not like different languages, but different dialects, I would say. And it's like they can come and infiltrate anything, like now recently the Black Panthers and everybody else, because everybody's speaking English. And I was told that it was hard for them to conquer us in so many ways too, because they didn't understand all these different languages. So I'm thinking, would you agree, or did you ever hear that or read that anywhere, that they did that in order so that they can know exactly what's going on with everybody and train the same language?
I mean, I haven't heard that. It makes it logical. But remember, everything when you're dealing with an oppressor and a colonizer, remember everything they do has an overt and a covert. And I actually learned that from David Gill, who's the author of Unraveling Social Policy, when I was working on my dissertation. And I actually, I like to call authors, if they're alive, I like to speak with them just to hear their frequency and how, what are you feeling about your work? And one thing he said to me was key. He said, when you're dealing with a society that's ruled by dominance versus majority and a minority and all that, there's always an overt reason why policy is brought forth, and it's always a covert. So while at one time, okay, yes, uniting the dialects into one unifying tongue, but at the same time, look at what it did to us as a people by lowering the frequency, slanting it, creating spellings and grammarlies and language arts out of a beautiful culture language that I think that is deeply rooted within us, that is a way of communicating life to one another. So yes, and at the same time, it is very interesting that English is pretty much like a universal tongue around the world. You're going to go anywhere, it's like people have to learn English. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I didn't read it. It just kind of came to me, after all the different things I've been reading. I'm imagining the spirit just let me know that's another reason that they probably did it, so that they could figure us out at all times,
I thought about that, but I had a different thought about it. I thought about it as 1 million people is not going to change the language of 60 million. So what happened was they adapted our language and just threw a couple of their words in there. Because if you go to England, we can't understand nothing they saying, and they can't understand nothing we saying, because the words have two totally different meanings. So that's just how I look at it.
I can see it from that. I can see it from that standpoint as well. Kind of slow down the frequency in order for them to be able to communicate with us in the way we're communicating anyway. We still have a language. We can speak like they're perfect English, but at the same time, we could be having a whole conversation and speaking it, and they don't know what we're talking about.
Right. But it's just like you did name, not me. So it's almost like you break the words down, one word, all the way down by syllables. And what they did was put it all together.
Correct. I think yes, because there's a lot of words they did like that. We hear the word wishy-washy, right?
Right.
And wishy-washy normally, what does wishy-washy mean? What have we been taught that it means, or how we use it?
Them folks
Anybody?
wishy-washy. Them some wishy-washy folks over there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Now, when I broke it down, I said, wait a minute, but I hear wishy, washy, wishy, washy, right?
Right.
And when you do it, take it back to its natural form, it is close to what you're saying, but it's more profound than that. It's like it's bipolarism. It's wishy or you're washy, because why is great. Okay.
Right.
With down here, wishy is like you're subdued. And if you look on page 6, you see the little diagram, like a little illustration I tried to give of that. Like we're kind of teeter-tottering. We're wishy and then we're washy. We're way out there. But the key is what some have called the chi. But it's not so much, they kind of corrupt a lot. They corrupt so much where, you're taught chi to control your chi. But it's about really being in oneness with your chi, your reflection, the divine reflection of the universe. That I am. Like even the words I am, a lot of the things they did, they took the H out. We hear it a lot of times, and sometimes they just took the H straight out of the words. And that's another way of unlocking some of the mother tongue roots that are in the words, that they say are English, is putting the H back. And I kind of go on that. You'd have to skip around. Breaking the spell of English, when you go to page 10. I'll touch on that a little bit. And then, we'll try to break it up in chunks, and then I can cover whatever the next thing is for next week. Colonialism grew in social political powwow or powwow. We start putting our inflection back into some of the words, which means showing of great strength. Because remember, why, like when we said Nina wa means great, powwow. The intensity and conceptual sophistication of our indigenous communications became overshadowed by dominance of English intonations, and it became wishy-washy. It's unbalanced. So English itself, if you look up the etymology of it, is literally an ish of, which means a type of or kind of angle. So to some degree, it's like a slant on our former pre-colonial dialects. So in an essence, it is we, the people, who had to like flatten or retune our frequency communication, like you were saying, in order for foreigners to be able to communicate with us. So English American just gradually became what? Winding, twisting, a binding language with a whole complex, which is very different from just the learning of language and fluidity of your own Indian intonations. Because when we speak, it's fluid. It's in a divine frequency. So our generation,
a lot of rules too.
Yeah, a lot of rules that don't make any sense, but you got to think about it. Our language is pure. It's also it's compounded. I don't want to say the word complex, because complex then brings something else, a different energy. But when you say compounded, because our language is living, you can constantly build on it. So I think what they were probably trying to imitate is the fact that our language is so profound and it has depth, breadth, depth, and fluidity, that they tried to simulate it with all these different rules, homophones, homonyms, synonyms, antonyms, all these M's. It's crazy. So the way we're taught to kind of speak our own language, or the basis of our own language, is backwards. and we're forced to speak, read, and write English, which lacks the soul breath, our own connection to the living aspect of communication, not just babbling words. It's a living aspect which exists between us, nature, and the spirit world. Because we have more worlds than just looking at us. You know, we have the nature world, we have the spirit world, unseen world. So I on between page 10 and 13, I just kind of play on words a little bit. Languish, arts, languish. It's an art. All right. We're going to language arts in public school. And we're bound to what? Spelling, spells, grammarlies, lies, sentence structure. Sentence means judgment, verdict, ruling, punishment, decree. A structure is to build and construct. So sentence structure, right? We take a bunch of words and we put them together to make a phrase and a so-called complete thought. You're constructing it, right? But because we are natural airbenders or benders, despite our sentencing in the language that we've been made to learn in school, we have made the colonizers' version of our own language through sound frequency. We also bend it back. They call it slang, right? Or broken English or ebonics. You know, I don't know if you guys have heard that word back in the day. And many of us already accentuate the I frequency without really knowing the relevance. And I thought it was funny. Yeah. Any of you seen Undercover Brother before with Eddie Griffin?
That's a good movie. Funny to me.
Right. Okay. Key point. Okay. When he comes back after he's been made to act white, right? He comes back and he says, him and Sister Girl got into it because he said, I pronounce my I's and I cross my T's. But then she was like, it's sister. He was like, it's sister, girl. Think about the frequency of sister compared to sister.
The R. The R
right?
throws it off.
It throws it off. That
I don't even think we're supposed to be pronouncing R.
Right. Like
yeah, they take all the vibrations out. The R is the vibration of it.
You come down south, is
sister girl.
Go get in the car.
Mm-hmm. But even the way we name our children, Kira, Josiah, Shania, Shaquila, Shakana, Quan, Portia, we hear I. We do it. I hear I in our names a lot of times. And they call them like so-called black names, right? Your child, they call black names, so-called black names. But we use I a lot. And even how we name our children. Because those are, right? Those are. Oh, I didn't catch that. What was it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we got to remember in this language that the vowels are interchangeable.
Correct.
My grandmother's name was Mahalia, and her friend's name was Mariah. So they all had the yas on the end of their names back then.
Yeah. Aya.
My grandmother, Viola.
Mm-hmm. But think about, like, my mother's name is Anita, but it was like I was walking my grandson, and I don't know, it's like this rock spoke to me or something and picked me up, and I just picked it up and I said Anita. So sometimes I'll just, the words will just come, and I was like, Anita. And I slowed it down. Anita. I said, that is my mother's name. And my mother's name was Thelma. Her sister was Florida. And my mother is Anita. And it really means gracious one who is gracious, one who gives thanks. Anita. And I was like, wow. So another thing of linking you back to your peoples, look at the names of your elders. And look at what do we call our mother? We don't say mother, we say ma. Ma. Even when ma, we saying what's up, ma? Or even when you're talking to, I've heard brothers call sis, what's up, ma? Right? Ever heard another brother say, what's up, ah? What's up, ah? Yep, I've heard that back in the 80s. This man used to call my father, what's up, ah? And I was like, I've heard that. When I got older, and I was like, ah. I said, what? What's up, ah?
That's the up north term.
Yep, straight up. You already know.
We do it all the time, just like they say I. For instance, I say I see you. They say we supposed to say I see you, but nobody never says that. We always say I see you. I see you. I always use the I as I anyway.
Mm-hmm. So we kind of go back and kind of think about how we express ourselves when we just comfortable with each other. We speak a lot of those intonations naturally. So if you kind of skip down on page 12, and I'm gonna probably wrap it up with this section in here, because this kind of just before we get into the next section, which is beloved woman. Let me see.
I'm
All
sorry.
right, open. Yeah, I'm on
Go ahead.
page
I got
12.
it on 12. I got it on
Yep.
12.
It's on 12, where it says, open your eyes and ears and look around. Look and listen for the hidden I frequency in your daily inflections. And most often the A,
Hold
the
on.
H is
Hold
missing.
on. I didn't
Are you
see
there?
none of that. You said open your eyes.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
on.
see it.
It's
I
at the
see it.
bottom
I
of
see it.
page
I see
12.
it. Bottom. I see it. I see it.
Yeah. Each of the paragraphs are highlighted in bold, so you know you're starting a new section.
I got you.
New thought.
Come on.
All right. So one of the things you can, just to kind of play around with it and just see when you're looking at certain words in English, or when you're reading, kind of take your time and listen to some of the words and listen for the ah. And more than likely the H is missing. You say it when you are speaking it, you are saying the ah sound, but you don't see the H there. So that's one way of kind of helping you to undo the spell. And a lot of times, like I think I explained last time, children naturally. It's like we really have to teach children in school. I've been a teacher, how to spell correctly when in their own mind and head, they're actually writing it right because they're hearing it and they're writing it.
They did it to me.
Yeah, like one of the funniest things I think, who was that comedian? I can't think of his name. He's short. Always have his hair permed out or straightened out. What's his name? Cat Williams. And he was talking about his experience at school, and the teacher told him to spell knife. I think he said he spelled it N-I-F or N-I-F-E something, knife. And then she said, no, that's wrong. And she spelled the K, and he said, that's not knife, that's knife. So I don't know. I just picked up on that. I thought that was like really funny because he's right. Why does knife K-N-I-F-E? Why is that? We just roll with it, but in my mind, it don't make no sense.
No.
It makes absolutely no sense. Just like blue, blue, blue. Bye, bye, and bye. There and there. Or you can be. It's like crazy. And those are the things you have to watch out for, because those are, those cement, that's those tricks that they put in the language. So in other words, look for hidden angles and mirrors in English words. Like I used to start seeing words within words, like understand. I don't usually say I understand. I say I understand, which means I'm gaining the meaning inside. But when you're saying understand, what's the two words? If you flip it backwards, you're saying I'm standing under. Okay, when they say we want to departmentalize, but if you break up all those words, you can have depart, mental, and eyes. Just because they spell it eyes, I-Z-E, but I-Y-E-S says the same sound. Eyes, depart, mental, eyes. Information is in formation. Contract is a contract. Pray and pray. To ask people to pray for you. Because what's their true intention? The root of intention is intent. Pray equals pray. P-R-A-Y. P-R-E-Y. That's why we don't say good morning. We talked about that last time. Good morning equals morning. M-O-R-N-I-N-G. But then you have M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G, which means grieving. So you're greeting and grieving at the same time.
Tell it.
When you first taught me that, I became so conscious of that, and I didn't want to put any spells on anybody, and I stopped telling people good
Bless,
morning after that.
bless.
Right. When you pray, like that's why my mom always don't. I want people to pray for me. Pray. You ask somebody to pray for you, but then okay, are they praying on you? Prey.
They say if
When you say
to pray
right,
is to be prayed on.
right,
They
because
say,
it's Pray and then there's Prey. That's the cement. That's the tricks of the spellings. Days and days.
and
You go to
bless.
school for what?
Think
You
about it.
go to
All you
school for
did,
180 days, right?
vowel.
But you got days, right? Days, and you have Daze.
Mm-hmm.
What? I'm in a daze. You daggone around 180 days in school because I've been dazed out for 180 days. Then you have right and right, RITE and then RIGHT.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? You have sometimes SOM and you have SUM, some and the time. See, once you realize how these invaders kind of slanted, there's an overt and a covert because we do speak. Life and death isn't a tongue. That is a very powerful tool. They write, because just imagine for a moment we were all speaking in the mother tongue, at least in our own Indian language. Can you imagine the power of that in a courtroom, in a classroom, just walking down the street? Don't let us be on no corner talking to each other in our inflection. Man, can you imagine the power of that energy? They know about teaching us the way that they teach. That's why our kids be so confused. Our young men, So it's destructive. It's a very destructive code, and trying to, just bending it back and getting back to our roots, helps us to reconnect. So, and I'll have some more in there, but you'll watch, you start. That's how I started to learn some things about the planet. Like all the planets have these names, Jupiter's, Venus and Neptune, but we get to our planet. What do they call this planet? Anybody there?
Earth.
Mother
Earth. Okay.
Mother Earth.
Right. About this. Why is this the only planet that's Earth? So you got to ask yourself, what are they trying to hide? Because why is this planet called Earth and everything else is Jupiter, Mars, Venus? It doesn't make sense. So looking at the word, and it actually is a hidden word for heart. Now flip the H back to the front of the word. What do you see? Heart, right? And you have to go through which chakra is the bridge between the higher and lower self, sort of.
Mm-hmm. What, the third?
The heart. The heart.
Yeah, the heart.
Reiki, and they talk about the bridge when you're trying to bring universal energy to healing. They call it well, I kind of recalibrated it, and it's Ashonun.
Noon.
Right? Ashonun. It's like it's the bridgeway, going through, crossing over, going through the heart to get to your higher self, right? To breath. We talked about that with the Ankh and how they hold it, because someone corrected me on that. They're not holding it necessarily to the nose, it's to the heart, to the breath, right? To your light brain, your higher self. But noon is hidden within the Catholic Church as a who?
A nun.
A nun. And what does the nun represent? She's supposed to be the heart of God, the one who's married to God, right? See, they take our stuff, man, just flip it. It's a noon. So why is it they're trying to hide the real frequency of what this planet is? Put that H back where it belongs in front. This is the planet of the heart. Because this is where we're learning in the material world. And to get back to our higher self, we have to go through heart, the love, the she. And we got to go through that gate. So we are on the noon, and we have a relationship with the sun and the moon, which is, so these three body, noon, na. And
We
na
lost that
means
last verse. We lost the last verse.
I missed the whole part of that.
Okay, and I'm gonna close it out with that because that's gonna be a great kind of meditate on that. If we're on the heart, we're in the heart realm, right? Which is really the noon. They remember they flipped everything around. We already just talked about the noon is hidden as the nun, but don't they call the big yellow bright light the sun? So you have noon, soon, and the moon, which is really loon, like the lunar, luna. Because when we start talking about the different inflections, ooh means to come through. So soon is shining through. Loon is revealed illumination. Because remember, that's how the moon is. The moon really is lit, but you just see different parts of it veiled and unveiled, right? Veiled illumination, loon. Noon is the heart, the bridge. So ooh is a going through, it's a bridge. So we got to kind of meditate on that. So the
Sounds
sun, moon,
good.
and the earth is
Sounds good to me.
moon, noon, and the soon.
Mm.
So I'll leave it at that.
All right. So
Our original sciences. So
yeah, and I lost you again at the end of that verse. It's like now at the end when I'm really trying to get you. Everything you said
Me too.
is bleeping you out. We're gonna I might have you call in next week. We got to make sure we
okay,
get this information. But
okay.
if anyone need a PDF, you can hit us up. We'll get them out to you immediately. Anything else, Chief? Is anything you wanted to say?
No, that's it. We talked about attuning, setting the atmosphere of your home, sacred space, creating your own sacred space. I know a lot of you guys already do that because, I'm not, you guys are very much aware of who you are, but creating your own sacred space is really important. Creating
Right.
your sacred space, meditating, and finding your center, your your chi, which is your she. And we'll
Well,
talk
y'all heard
about
that. Now,
All right.
for those of you who do not have the PDF, I just put it in all the links. Darlene Carlton, which Facebook page are you on, please, so I can make sure you get it? We are on a lot of Facebook pages, so it'll be a lot quicker if you can just tell me which page you're on. I can come on over there and drop it real quick. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Okay. Chief, thank you very much for coming through once
Anytime.
again, helping us understand this thing. I know that we're gonna look forward to seeing you Friday night around the same time-ish.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
All right. Anytime.
Mm-hmm.
They said my page. Who is Darlene Carlton? I'm not screaming on your page. All right, y'all. Darlene, give me a minute. Go to Crew Cut Bridges page. I posted it. You can snatch it. Okay, that's it. Right there. If you come out, scroll down, boom, you got it. I got it. I already posted on the wall. Already done. All you got to do is just see it. It's a big blue feather. Get her done. All right.
All right, y'all. Peace.
I'm gonna try to make sure if I missed anything. No, I didn't. So thank you all again. I'm about to go take my butt to bed. We had a busy week. Thank you, Chief. If you got to come through, If we're gonna, well, I'll call you. And
Okay, cool. All right, y'all
Bone,
be safe out there.
Yep.
Wait,
I'm about to
wait.
go to bed.
Tell me where the link at.
Yeah. We're gonna head out tomorrow.
Raymond,
Yeah.
where you watching it at?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what you telling. What you telling them? You said you posted it down somewhere.
Okay, let me break this down real quick. All right. If you're on YouTube, Doodoo Vision, Ashamed to Be Here, Bones McCoy, Greenville Lost Tribes, Empress Copper Fox, and comedian Omar. If you're on Facebook, Bones H. McCoy, Daryl Baptiste with a T, no P, Clarence Bridges, DeMarcus Newsom, Crew Cut Bridges, and Lewis Coleman. We on all these pages.
Okay.
So you can catch it on any one of them pages, or you can come to Crew Cut Bridges on Facebook. That's my page. It's like the last 2-second or third things I just posted. So it's there. All you gotta do is go to Crew Cut Bridges. My page is open to the public. Anyone's able to get it. Anyone can get this work.
I'll go check it out.
All right. Thank you for coming out, Raymond.
All righty.
Check us out in the morning time. We rock from 4:30 to 10:30 Eastern time. So when you get up out in the morning, we breaking that news down with an Aboriginal twist. We letting you know it's BS off the jump. But other than that, everyone had a wonderful weekend. We'll see you all Monday morning. And peace.
I show.
I show.